Screech by Taran NCT on AO3. Episode 7, Chapter 7. Izuku walked out of the changing room and saw Hitoshi waiting for him. "Hey, Izu, how did you think you did?" he asked. "Hey, I think I did okay. I took out a few robots, but I didn't get as many as I probably should have. I spent a lot of the time helping people avoid getting hurt." Izuku shrugged. I mean, I couldn't just stand there and ignore when a robot was about to shoot a laser at some kid. "Well, you probably did a lot better than you think you did. So, I want to take you somewhere to celebrate." Hitoshi grinned at him. "I found a cafe I think you might like." "Oh, really? One that I might like?" Izuku raised an eyebrow at his brother. "Why do I have the feeling that it's one you might like, and I'm just the convenient excuse to go?" Hitoshi shrugged. "I have no idea what you're talking about." He turned a mischievous grin towards Izuku. "We're still going, though." Izuku laughed. Of course, of course." It didn't take long for the two of them to come to the cafe. After just one look, Izuku almost turned around and walked off, but was stopped by a crackling Hitoshi. "Oh, come on, just for a little bit, please." "Ugh, fine. But next time, we're finding some, I don't know, brainwasher cafe or something," Izuku grumbled, as Hitoshi dragged him off into the Owl Cafe. "I doubt a brainwasher cafe would be very profitable." Hitoshi laughed. "We're not all that adorable, but I mean, look at these little guys." Hitoshi was cooing at all the little owls in the cafe. Izuku had to admit they were cute, and he wasn't really upset that Hitoshi had brought them here. He had heard about these places before. Owl cafes were just like cat cafes, and this one looked pretty cozy. There were perches all over the cafe. Some chubby holes for the owls that wanted to hide. Some areas were darker than others, and there was no loud music playing. Instead, there were sounds of the forest at night. Izuku felt at peace in this cafe. Not that he really wanted to tell Hitoshi that. As the two brothers found a table and ordered some food and drinks, they were pleased to see an owl had decided to come say hello. A pretty, snowy owl swooped onto the perch at their table and then plopped down, wandering to Hitoshi, and started grooming his hair. Izuku giggled and pulled out his phone to take a picture. "I'm sending this to Hizashi," Izuku warned him. Yeah, Pops will probably get a kick out of that," Hitoshi stated, petting the owl, marveling at how soft the feathers were. "I didn't think they'd be so soft." "Yeah," Izuku replied. "Owl's feathers aren't the same as other birds. We have more soft, fluffy feathers. It's a part of what makes us so quiet in flight." Izuku dropped a few more owl facts to Hitoshi, while they were both enamored with the snowy owl at their table. Eventually, though, Izuku had a question that would change the subject into something deeper, heavier. "Hey, Toshi, can I ask a question that might be a bit too personal?" Izuku was looking down at his coffee, not even attempting to meet Hitoshi's eyes. "You don't have to answer if you don't want to." "Sure." Hitoshi raised an eyebrow, wondering where this was going. Um, Izuku started, and then paused, not sure how he wanted to start this. "Well, okay, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this. Really, I'm not." He glanced up at Hitoshi, checking to see if he was annoyed or not. When he got a small grin, he decided to continue. How how are you so confident?" He ended up in a whisper. Hitoshi's eyes widened at that. That was not where he thought this was going. "What do you mean?" Izuku squirmed. "Again, I don't mean to offend you. Really, I'm not." "Izuku, I can tell you're not trying to be mean. But if you don't spill it out, I'll never know what you're not being mean about." Hitoshi interrupted. Right." Izuku took a deep breath, held it for a few seconds, and then released it. With a quirk and past like yours, I can imagine a lot of self-esteem issues. I doubt anyone would normally want to talk to you, and even if they didn't know your quirk, the fear of accidentally triggering it would make you not talk. I'm wondering how you managed to get over all of that. Hitoshi was silent. He just ran his hand over the feathers of the owl at his side. Izuku couldn't tell if he was upset with him, contemplating his answer, or if he had managed to trigger a silent episode. Just as Izuku was about to apologize, Hitoshi spoke. You're right. And for a few months after I was adopted, the only person I would speak to was Dad. I wouldn't even speak to Pa. They both taught me JSL, so I was able to communicate, but I wouldn't talk. One day, when Dad was out and I thought Pa didn't have his hearing aids in, I was singing along in the radio. Hitoshi had a soft smile on his face. Pa had been testing out a new pair of hearing aids, much smaller and barely visible. He heard me singing. Pretended he couldn't, though. Didn't want me to stop. I take it you sing really well? Hitoshi huffed out a laugh. Pa says it's because I have a vocal quirk. That's why my voice is so nice. Even when my voice started changing, it never cracked, squeaked, broke, nothing. Lucky I still squeak sometimes, Izuku mumbled, as Hitoshi smirked. But Pa heard me. He continued. After that day, he started to coax me into talking more. He bribed me. I'm not ashamed to admit it. He trained me like a dog. He would give me treats whenever I used my voice. Hitoshi laughed. It only lasted a few weeks, though. Dad found out and kicked him out of the house for a few days. But Pa is the one who helped me build my confidence. Dad made sure I knew how to use my quirk properly, but my self-esteem issues were all handled by Pa. Oh, and my therapist too, but I guess mainly Pa. Izuku looked thoughtfully back at his coffee. Why the sudden interest? Hitoshi asked. It's something me and Keigo were talking about the other day. I've been having a difficult time with my confidence lately. In the exam today, I wasn't really all that sure if I was able to use my quirk in front of all those examinees. Izuku looked up quickly, worried Toshi was going to scold him for that, and he was relieved to see him nodding to continue. Acting weak has been a central part of my life for so long. I don't really know how not to do it. But when I'm Screech, it just comes naturally. Keigo said it was like adopting a hero persona, and he's probably right. I have noticed that you're a lot more confident when you're fighting than when you're doing anything else, Hitoshi pointed out. Yeah, but that's another thing. I want to be not a nervous wreck, like most of the time. I don't need to be Screech 24/7, but I'd like to be a functional person. I'm working on it, but it's hard. Izuku finished in a whisper. That's why I asked. From what I know about you, your quirk, and your past, I figured you had the same problems at one point. You definitely take this to Pa. If anyone can help you build up your confidence, it'll be him. He was cool today, Izuku said, the stars back in his eyes. I had almost forgotten just how awesome Present Mike is. After these past few weeks living with Hizashi, seeing Present Mike, I swear he's a totally different person. Hizashi? Izuku asked after dinner that night. He had been thinking about the conversation he had both with Keigo and Hitoshi all day, and he decided that Hitoshi was right. He'd have to bring his problems up with Hizashi. Yeah? What's up? Hizashi said while doing the dishes, with Izuku helping. Well, here's the thing. Izuku hesitated, not quite sure how to ask him. Today, seeing you on stage, not as Hizashi, but as Present Mike, was really cool. I couldn't help but thinking that's what a pure persona should be, because I didn't see Hizashi on stage. I only saw Present Mike. Well, thanks, little listener. I have spent a lot of years perfecting that act. I would hope I've gotten down fairly well by now. Hizashi grinned a bit, unsure of where Izuku was going with this, but willing to just roll with it. Well, the other day, Keigo was talking to me about something, and it kinda helped me today. I was really nervous about using my quirk at the exam today. Izuku started. He could see Hizashi nodding along, but knowing how Izuku had felt. I have a lot of issues with my confidence that I'm trying to work on, and Keigo said something about how I was already halfway to creating a hero persona with my Screech act, and that if I went in as Screech, I should be okay. Well, I've never met you as Screech, so I can't say anything about that. But from what I've heard from Sho, and what I saw on the exam today, you're a very competent fighter. You probably do have a good hero persona starting there. Hisashi agreed. And then earlier today, me and Hitoshi were in a cafe, and I was asking him about how he's so confident despite everything he's been through, and he said most of it was thanks to you. Izuku paused and looked up at Hisashi. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, can you help me with that too? I think my Screech persona might be decent, but my normal day-to-day confidence needs some serious work. He ended in a whisper. Hisashi pulled Izuku into a tight hug. Sure thing, kiddo. You're a bit older than Hitoshi was, so don't expect instant results. But I'm sure we can definitely get you a bit more confident in yourself before high school starts. We have until April after all. Thanks. February and March passed quickly, and while Izuku wasn't yet at his brother's level of confidence, he was a lot further than he had been. His progress had made huge leaps and bounds, and he had felt he was ready for his first of high school. Right up until he looked at the front gates. Nope, I can't do this. I'm out. Izuku turned and started walking away, but a laughing Hitoshi grabbed him around the waist and heft him over his shoulders like a stack of potatoes, and just started walking into the building. You're gonna do fine, Izu, he said with a smirk. And I'd bet you even make a friend or two. Maybe even three. You know everyone is staring at us, right? Izuku pointed out, hoping that would make Hitoshi put him down. Well, you shouldn't have tried to run. Hitoshi shrugged with the shoulder Izuku wasn't on. It's not like this is the first time you've been at UA, so really, I don't see the issue. I haven't been to a new school with new classmates since I started primary school, Izuku complained. Aldera District had all the same kids. About time you meet new people then. They had reached the door to the class. If I put you down, will you walk into the class on your own, or will you attempt to run again? He teased and set Izuku down. Izuku could hear Bakugou in class. He wanted to run. He really wanted to run. He didn't want to see Bakugou again. Gods, why did they have to be in 1A again? Wasn't there another class? 1B? He should have been put in that class. Or even general education. He doesn't deserve to be in the same. He felt cold splash water from Hitoshi's squirt gun. If you're gonna mumble, make sure it's positive, Izu. So now repeat what you said, but positively. Hitoshi's glare threatened to turn the squirt gun on him again. Izuku gulped, nervously. I deserve to be here, he said hesitantly. Damn right you do. What scores did you get on the exam? I got first place on the entrance exam, a 97 on the written, and 102 points on the practical. Izuku said, still quiet, but not a whisper anymore. Don't you dare forget that. Now continue. I don't really remember what else I said. He glanced at the door again. I can hear one of the kids from my old school in there, and, well, he was one of your bullies, wasn't he? At Izuku's hesitant nod, Hitoshi continued. If he messes with you, I'll have him walk into oncoming traffic. Don't worry about it. Hitoshi grinned, his dad's evil grin. Let's go. Do Owl's Cafe actually exist? Because That sounds dangerous. As I said before, I have met owls in person, and even the smallest ones, what's it called? They have sharp, talons and stuff. Oh my god, it's a thing. The Owl Cafe? That's a thing? There is such thing as owl cafes. I want to go to one. Oh my god, and they are in Japan. Oh my god. The Owl Cafe trend. Japan does give a hoot. What? I'm looking at this article. Oh, as soon as I said this, my cat opened my door. Dude, let me close that. I could hear people showering. I could be outside. People over here probably hear it too. Don't meow at me. I'm looking at owl cafes. Oh my god, that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. Oh my god. Is that not like, what do they do for like the whole talents thing? Because they have talents. Do you have to sign a waiver before you go in? I would imagine you have to sign a waiver considering, you know, owls have sharp talons. Like literally they could tear you apart. Like that whole thing of like the owl being on Hitoshi's head and grooming his hair. That sounds like a whole head injury waiting to happen. Like, no, hold up, I'm asking. Okay, owl cafes, are they a thing? Because they're a thing. In Japan and some other countries, the cafe allows customers to interact with owls in a controlled environment. Visitors can hold or pet the owls while enjoying food or drinks. However, it's important to note that the ethical implications and treatment of the animal in such establishments has raised concern, leading to debates about their appropriate and impact on the well-being of the owls. Interesting. Is it safe? That's not of the owls, of the people. Of the people. How well the owls are cared for, the environment in which they're kept, the regulation standard for the... However, there's been concerns about certain owl cafes where the owls may not be treated well if you're considering visiting owls. Okay, so they're not ethically well speaking, so some of them might not be okay. Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't think that was a thing. I no longer want to go to an owl cafe anymore, considering those circumstances. Yeah, no thank you. I'm not going into an owl cafe. They're a thing. It seems dangerous, and if there has been records where the owls have not been taken care of properly, then yeah, no thank you. Not happening. But thanks. Anyways, you know, that was nice. But I'm glad that Izuku is getting a little more confidence and that he's getting help from Hizashi. We love that. We love that. Oh my god. Love that. Also, sorry that yesterday there was no video. There's gonna be certain days where there's just no video because I am busy. Work, life, having time to myself, you know, stuff like that. But as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.